Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Friends in the Wild podcast, the long awaited episode. We have our bride here who
No
actually
longer a bride.
is no longer a bride. She's now
Thank goodness.
a wife, if you can believe it.
No,
Back
a
from her
wife.
honeymoon, back from the biggest life change that it almost the biggest life change of your life.
No, I think it is. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But even more importantly, we have a special guest here to say hello. Miss Anna is back once again.
Hello.
And this time she's speaking.
She voluntarily said hello. Anna, do you have any other words of wisdom for us?
No.
And this is the moment she goes mute.
Yep. That's all you get. You get 2 words, and we're improving every time with every appearance.
How's your summer going, Anna?
Really, really good.
Yeah, I
Okay.
figured.
What are you most looking forward to this summer?
The beach.
Ooh, when are you going? Sometime this summer?
She's going in like 3 weeks. We're all going together.
Okay.
And she's going to see Dude Perfect live in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. The excitement is just spilling over.
Yeah. So, is there anything else to say? What grade are you going into this time?
4th.
4th
Woo.
grade.
You're essentially an adult.
I know. She can join 4-H this year, which is really exciting.
That is exciting. A path we paved for you.
Yeah, we did. Trailblazers. Okay, anything else? Are you ready to make your exit?
I think I'll make my
Oh, sorry, I forgot to give you the microphone. Say it again.
I think I'll make my exit.
Okay.
I just want to say, Anna, you did such a great job. Word count like 20 this time, so that's so much better than last time.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I'll see you later.
Good night, Anna.
Good night, Anna.
Will you close the door, please? So Anna and my mom are visiting me for the night in Chattanooga. We're having a really fun time.
That's
But
fun.
anyway, back to regularly scheduled programming. Let's just, where to even start?
So much has happened since we last spoke up to date. So,
I will say, we've been keeping in contact. Over Mallie's honeymoon, I am going to out her. She texted me that she misses me and that she wished I was there every day of her honeymoon. So,
no, literally.
So, I do just want
But we'll
to
have
get that out
to
to the world.
We'll have to talk about that in a little bit. I could literally read our text. I mean, you were brought up every day in conversation. I'm not even
I
kidding.
hope it was more frequently than just like once a day,
Oh, it was. Don't worry.
Main
At one point,
topic of
Colin said that he wished that I would have brought you on my honeymoon. So, just take that for what you will.
Me too,
Yeah, for real.
So,
But
should we
before
start
all
at the
that,
beginning?
yeah, let's start it back in 2001 when we were born. I'm kidding.
We were born. No, so we left off on Thursday night before Mally's wedding on Saturday. So on Friday, do you have any key points that you want to share from like your wedding day eve?
We really just took everything to the venue and like Largrace, and then my best friend Madison and Lainey, they stayed the night. LG and the two of them stayed the night with me. So we really just did like a little walkthrough, and then we went to dinner at the restaurant in the hotel where the wedding was, and it was really just fun and chill, nothing too crazy. And I was finishing up some last minute details like the seating chart and steaming dresses, and just really having like a girls' night, which was so fun. I'm so glad we did that.
Me too. The conversation was so sweet and fun, and vibes were just the whole weekend. It was just like exactly what you would imagine. Everyone was so excited and very like present and aware of what was happening. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like sometimes when big moments are happening, people aren't really tuned in to the big moments, but everybody totally was. So,
and it was that night we decided Largrace was going to give a speech at the
yes. On Mally's wedding, we decided that.
So I'm laying in bed, and Largrace got in late because she's like 3 hours away now, and she has to self-tan. She's got to write her speech. So we all go to bed at like 1, and all of a sudden, It's like the wee hours of morning, 3 o'clock. Our Grace is crawling into bed, starts scratching my bed.
Well, okay, first of all,
I was awake.
I knew Mallie was awake. Secondly, I was about to cry. My best friend is getting married. I have like been kind of on an emotional roller coaster about you getting married this entire from Friday to now. So,
and I'm gonna need you to talk more about that.
Yeah, that's a topic for later. Like that's very secondary to all of this. But
no, I get so tired of hearing about it all in my perspective. I want to hear.
Well, I crawled into bed. I had just been, on this emotional roller coaster of its own, which was writing my speech. And then I get into bed, like in between. I'm in the middle too. So I like squeeze in there like a sardine. And then Mallie's laying there and I'm like, oh, she's getting married tomorrow. So I just love on her a little bit. And then she starts laughing, obviously, making fun of me.
No, it was sweet. And let's just put it out there. You and I hugged several times that weekend.
And I want to keep hugging you.
And we're gonna. It'll happen. But it's got to.
This is what I was saying to Mallie on her wedding day. I said, I think if we keep hugging, you're going to start liking me less. And that's just I still have that fear, but I don't care. I'm going to keep hugging you anyway.
I think that's an irrational fear, honestly. I think we'll be okay.
Okay, great. So, moving along to the wedding day, right?
Yes. So we wake up. It was honestly just such a nice, chill morning.
Yeah.
We ordered breakfast at the coffee shop connected to the hotel, and we really spent the majority of the morning making TikToks and just cracking up.
Yeah.
And having fun, which was honestly just such a nice way to set the tone of the day.
Yeah.
And then we started getting ready, and I did do my own makeup.
And it was
I had a lot of direction from the lady who was doing my mom's makeup, Charity. Shout out Charity. She did direct me, but I ended up doing my own, and it was honestly just really nice because I was just sitting there kind of going at my own pace. And then my sister did my hair, which was nice because I could just tell her exactly what I wanted and didn't want. But also it just took a lot of the stress off. And yeah, everyone else was just kind of like chilling and getting ready on their own. And it was very, very peaceful, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. It was really fun. We had some light music going. It was just,
probably could have worked on my playlist a little better for the getting ready, but
yeah,
some things gotta give. You can't do it all.
I got on your phone and changed it a few times, but it was good. There were definitely times when everyone was zoned out from the music. So
yeah, because there was a lot going on. Regardless, because they were my coordinator was setting up the venue for the day. One thing, I was so tired of people asking me questions. And Laura Grace was my check-in. Throughout the whole day, I was just like, am I being too mean to people? Am I being hateful? But I mean, it got to the point in the day where I was trying to literally put my dress on and people were still asking me questions, and I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Literally use your judgment. Because at this point, I do not. I mean, that morning I was sitting on my bed trying to pick out a song that Colin and I were going to walk out to after we got married.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm not on top of it. So it just got to the point where I was like, okay. The moment when I had to put my dress on and the photographer and the videographer there and I was getting married in 45 minutes, that was a little bit stressful because I was like, okay, let's get going, I would like to not be running down the aisle. I'd like to be on time. But it still worked out literally just fine. So,
the whole getting ready experience was really fun and nice. And nobody was stressed up until the photographer got there and we were trying to squeeze a lot in. It was a little bit a little bit hurried at that point, but it was still everyone was having.
I feel like it's going to be like that with any wedding, though.
Definitely.
It's just down to the wire.
Yeah, and it's you're paying for this photographer. You want to get as much out of them as possible. But Mallie did amazing. No one could have known ever that you were annoyed by all the questions. You handled it all.
Thanks.
With grace.
I think my coordinator was a little bit worried at how zen I was being.
Yeah. Everyone did think that everyone was. have popped some pills that morning to stay extremely calm.
I honestly had prayed about this. I prayed that everyone would be chill and like I felt like if I was calm and grounded that it would kind of set the tone for everyone else to be like, okay, if she's not stressed, then literally why are we? And honestly, I don't really know. I think genuinely, I think I kind of may have disassociated a little and just like suppressed it all.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad I did because I was not like freaking out other than like down to the last few minutes before we got married. And even then, I literally forgot my bouquet upstairs. My mom had to run and get it 10 minutes before I walked down the aisle. I was just like, okay, whatever. If I don't have it, I mean, it'll be fine. But yeah.
Let's talk about really briefly the moment that your bouquet arrived because
I know.
that was such an amazing moment. The flowers were all incredible.
I'm obsessed with them. First of all, I was in the bathroom peeing when my bouquet arrived, and everyone was like, Mallie, Mallie. I was like, what? Who's here? I just need a minute to release my bladder. And they were like, your bouquet's here. I was like, oh, I've got to hurry up. Because I knew that I was going to have a bouquet purse. And I was so excited to see what it looked like. Because we also had just decided like 2 days before to do the purse. And stunning. Honestly, the reason I feel like my wedding felt like a fairy tale is because of the flowers.
Yeah.
The flowers just set the tone. Amanda Gunner, and I had no fear. There was no fear in my mind. I knew she was going to like knock it out of the park, and she did that, in fact.
Something that I overheard her and her daughter Sarah.
I just sorry, I didn't know what you were wanting from me. I was like,
Amanda and Sarah were talking to your mom, and they were saying, we've been talking about how great taste Mallie has. Like, we've enjoyed doing these flowers so much because she has such great taste. And I was like,
that's sweet.
So true. So I wanted to keep like a mental list of things I overheard at your wedding, you know?
Oh. And you know what? I appreciate that because I feel like I didn't get to, no matter what, I didn't get to like soak it in.
Yeah.
Because if it were up to me, I would have wanted to walk around and like look at every single table and just like take pictures of it all. And you want to hear other people's perspective because I only have my own and Colin's. So yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to say about things too.
I'll have a lot of thoughts.
But yes, so apparently it was like raining just seconds before I walked down the aisle, but it cleared up. The weather was, if I could change one thing, I would have changed the weather a little. It was just so humid.
It was really humid.
It was calling for a thunderstorm, so I'll take the humidity over that any day because I got to get married like not under a tent. So that was nice. But the ceremony happened. I did mess up our vows.
Wait. Back up slightly. So your wedding coordinator came up to me about 3 minutes before the wedding and said, hey, I'm going to have to do something else. Can you do the music? And this is like, how many people were there? Like
25.
Yeah. So I'm like, sure. Like, obviously, yeah. But still, I'm like, okay, but this is like a responsibility, even if it's a small one. Like, this is a responsibility that I have to do correctly. And Ryan had just gotten there, and he like had just arrived and like wasn't really like engulfed in the vibes of like and like I'm trying to run around and do I feel like I was also being asked a lot of questions, and I was trying not to like step on anyone's toes or anything, but then people kept wanting me to like to do stuff. So I was like, okay, fine.
Really?
Do everything. Yeah. So
did you feel like you didn't get to enjoy the day because you were my wing woman?
I love to feel like
important.
Yeah, like an important part of your day. You know, that really made my day to be an important part of it.
That's what I'm excited about for your day.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to be wanted.
It was really fun. Yeah, it was great. Let's see. And I'm so glad that I got to see a lot of like your little intimate moments, you know. Some of them I just like showed up for, but
which ones?
Well, like when your dad saw you. Well, actually
were you out there?
I had a task, I guess. I carried your dress. Yeah, I was out there. Oh, wait. Addison carried your... No, wait. I can't remember who did at that moment.
Either way,
yeah,
you were out there.
Where was I going with this? Oh, so the music. So she's like, there's this song, and then there's this song, and you have to like fade this one out, and then this one is for whenever they left. And I was like, okay, I already know the songs. Like, you don't have to tell me.
I decided them.
And like I knew all of this. But it was just I had to do it. So
yeah.
I did good. I messed up in one moment, which I'll say after. So go ahead with your story.
Okay, so we walked down the aisle, Colin's sobbing. Apparently, this is a little detail. Before we walked down the aisle, I had to like wait in a separate room that was beside where Colin was standing. And his mom and dad came in and like talked to me and stuff before we walked down the aisle. And apparently Colin like heard my voice and he just started crying then because he heard my voice. I was like, oh, that's sweet. He's like, I didn't even want to hear you talk. I just wanted to see you and hear you for the first time. But anyways, so we are going through.
I'm so excited, to hear Colin's perspective. I do have to say, we might have to just redo this episode again from Colin's POV.
I know. Poor Colin has to work tomorrow, so he's in the bed, and we really wanted him in on this episode, but we will have to get all of his thoughts at a later date because I honestly, like, he loved it. Every day he says that on our honeymoon, he said he wished our wedding wasn't over, that he loved it so much and that he would do it again 1,000%, which makes me feel good because that man did not want a wedding at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're up there reading our vows and the wording is weird. My dad married us and Colin read this part and I heard his mom say, oh no, that's wrong. Like he was supposed to say bride instead of husband, just the wording of the sentence.
You take Mallie to be your lawfully wedded wife.
No, it was a different line. Because I wouldn't have messed that up. I knew that line. It was something else.
No, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Because it sounded at the moment. I don't really remember why, but it sounded
like ma. It sounded like Dad said ma instead of thy. Some way it sounded wrong. I don't know if it was that sentence or not.
Like the genders were switched. Like
yes.
He was I say husband or something.
Yeah. So I thought, and I heard Jacinta say, like, that's wrong. So I was like, okay, I'll just slyly change it. No, I changed it to the wrong thing. So then we just all start horse laughing. And then I went to put Colin's ring on his right hand instead of his left hand. But honestly, like, it just broke the ice of the ceremony and whatever. Like, it just adds to the story.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so we got married and then we had 2 hours before the reception started. So we just took a bunch of pictures and hung out until all the guests arrived. Do you have anything else that happened in between
that period of time? I mean, definitely. Oh, one thing, just this is a personal anecdote. So we had gone down to take pictures with Mallie, like me, Addison, Madison, and Lainey. And we were going back up and Colin was coming down, or Colin was already down there. And I was going back up and I said, Mallie, do you need anything? I'll get you a water or something. She was like, yeah, a water would be great. So I go back up, grab a water, get Ryan as well. Because he's been just hanging out up there. And I said, walk with me to bring Mallie this water and hand it to him to hold it. Okay. We're walking down the stairs. We're like halfway there. It's like not a short walk, it's like several.
No, we're across the street.
Yeah. I see him put the water bottle up to his mouth and take something. I said, did you just take a drink of that water?
Of Mallie's water?
Of the bride's water? He said,
oh.
I don't know why I did that. So anyway, that was just really funny at the time. But I will say, one moment where Mallie looked, well, all of the pictures of Mallie and Colin right after they got married, like they took some across the street on the stairs of this church. I'm sure you'll all see these eventually. And then they also took some in like the lobby of the hotel. And the real life visual of this was the most stunning picture of any wedding I've ever seen. That it was incredible.
Thank you.
And I've already told Mallie this, but her videographer, whenever the photographer was taking a picture of the two of them, the videographer, or like the videographer's helper, who also happens to be one of our 6th grade teachers, or 5th grade teachers, She's like, man, they're such a stunning couple. Look at that bone structure. I was like, no, you're so right. Like, it's incredible.
Ugh, she's so sweet. I'm so excited to see the video. I think that it's going to be great. So
Yeah.
I'm super pumped for that. But we took pictures and then all of our guests arrived. So at that point, like right before we went out for our first dance, it was just Colin and I sitting in the room, which was nice. It was kind of like just a moment to be like, oh my gosh, like we're married. So we did our first dance to At Last, and it was really just super sweet. And
perfect.
we didn't rehearse anything, and I honestly think that made it even better because we're not the type to rehearse things like that, and it just made it more like spur of the moment and really sweet. So then we got to say hi to all of our guests while they were starting to eat their dinner. One hiccup that did happen is my photo booth.
Yeah.
It was supposed to print out my strips for the people to take with them, and they called me that morning and was like, hey, so it's completely broken. We'll only be able to text them copies and we'll print you some later. So I still haven't heard back. I emailed them. I still haven't heard about them, but I hope that I get some copies because that's honestly the one thing I was like super excited about.
Yeah.
But
I think they will send them.
I hope so. But we said hi to all of our guests, and then everyone ate. And a lot of people did use our audio guest book. We got our voicemails back on our phones, and they're honestly perfect. They like just flow at the perfect rate. They'll be sentimental, then they'll be funny, and there'll be ones that are like, is this thing working? It just adds to like the whole vibe. So I'm excited. Maybe I'll make like a little video of using some of them as well.
I was thinking about how fun it probably was for you guys to listen to that like on your honeymoon because it came out really quick.
Yeah, we had them. I think it was like Monday or maybe Wednesday. First thing, I woke up and I saw the email, 9 a.m. laying in bed. I had it on full blast, and we were just laying there. And what I really loved about it is that we recognize people's voices before they even said their names. And I was like, man, this is just so special because you get cards from people all the time with their like handwriting and stuff. But to actually have like someone's voice to where you can listen to like on a vinyl record is just going to be so nice.
Yes.
So what'd you think of my first dance?
I loved your first dance, and something that the song was absolutely perfect, and it was like, for the very first time introducing, and your dad's speech we need to talk about.
We'll talk about that.
That's still in the future. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
For the very first time, Mallie and Colin, Trent, whatever. How many times have you been called Mallie Trent, by the way?
A few times. Not a ton. Colin still calls me Mallie Cole. So. There's that.
Somebody was saying that you are Mallie Cole, like you're such a first name, last name person, which I don't really see, but
me either.
I guess
But I love it.
Yeah. They were like, she's always going to be Mallie Cole. Mallie
Cole.
Cole.
Yeah.
That's it.
And legally I still am.
Yeah.
And will be for a minute.
But anyway, it was like, for the very first time, Mallie and Colin Trent, and then it was like, and they came out and like, they looked so perfect, and then they danced, and something that my mom said about that moment was, she was like, they're particularly during your first dance, but also like throughout the whole night, you guys just looked like so confident and like not self-conscious in front of everyone, and so like comfortable together and all the people who were there. And I thought that was really sweet as well.
That's a good compliment because that means you curated a good guest list for there to be people that you just don't have to worry about being yourself.
Yep.
That's the sign of knowing that you invited the right people to your wedding.
Yep.
And honestly, the whole night I was just like, this is my wedding. Like, I'm going to have fun if I want. Yeah. So my dad did make a speech and like bless the food, and honestly he did such a good job. I was
such a good job.
Crying the whole time. Also, one more thing about during our ceremony, my dad was talking about how like he felt like God brought us together and that we were the perfect couple, or not the perfect couple, but the perfect pick for the other person. And Colin and I literally started giggling at each other, and I was like, wow, that's the first time he's ever said that. Because my dad is just not the lovey-dovey type. But his speech was so sweet. He talked about when Colin asked for the blessing to marry me and how it was a little bit not painful, but it is. It's hard to like give your child away to someone, and how Dad asked him like if he were to say no, what would he do? And Colin said that he would just wait for him to say yes. And at that point, I was literally bawling my eyes out.
Mm-hmm.
When I got up to go like talk to people, I had snot all over me. I was like trying to wipe it all up. I was a mess. But this speech was so sweet, and I'm really glad he did give one. So
yeah, no, it was perfect. Everyone was in tears.
Yeah, and then your speech was up.
Yeah,
and honestly, one of my favorite pictures I've received is the picture of Colin and I just both looking at you while you're giving this speech. I have literally alligator tears in my eyes. And Colin's just smiling at you.
Yeah, like it's just such a sweet picture.
Maybe we need to post that one on the podcast Instagram along with all the pictures of me and you.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, first of all, I knew that your speech would be great. You literally did not stutter. You have just the best way of articulating yourself.
I did stutter, and also I read it directly off of my phone.
Well, you had, it was literally not even 24 hours old. Barely.
That's true.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't 24 hours old, so we'll give you grace.
Some of it, like some pieces of it, I had thought about what I was going to say. You know, like
for a while.
Like, yeah, like before you got engaged, you know? I mean, I'm just like, that's something that you kind of think about. Or just,
and that's the main reason, like, I wanted you to do it, is because I feel like as a girl's best friend, you kind of think about what you're going to say at their wedding. Literally, the night I got married, I was in the shower thinking about what I'm going to say at yours.
See, now that's crazy. We have an unhealthy relationship, and I'm so happy with it.
No, I think this is healthy.
You're right. People who say it's unhealthy are just jealous that they don't have a business.
I've never had a real friend.
Yeah.
Anyways, Laura Grace's speech was so sweet. I can't wait to just listen back to it.
I am afraid to listen back to it.
No, it was, and everyone that I've talked to has been like, LG's speech was so sweet. It truly was. She basically just talked about how Colin is so good to me. And yeah. And the way she ended it was perfect. She was like, and if you love the speech, we have 64 episodes available on Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. So the podcast obviously got a shout out.
Obviously.
But yeah, you did an amazing job, and I can't wait to listen back to it.
Thank you. I'm glad I got to do it and voice my love for you. But everybody knows that I'm obsessed with, this is what I told you after the fact, when you were complaining to me about not bragging on you and only Colin. Everyone knows that I'm obsessed with you. But, you know, I wanted to make it about Colin too, so.
You did a great job.
Thanks.
And if they want to hear how obsessed you are about me, they could just listen to our podcast every week.
Any episode will do.
Right. So after that, we did the father, daughter, mother, son dance, and really just danced the night away until we literally had to leave because our rental time was up.
Yeah.
But it was so nice. Like, everyone danced, and at the end of the night, we all just like sat at a table while Colin and I finally ate and just talked about the night and just catching up with friends that we hadn't seen in a while. And it was honestly the perfect ending to the night.
Yeah.
So, really yeah.
That part was probably my favorite. Just like you guys sitting there eating and everybody's gathering.
Watching us.
Around. Yeah. And it was like all of our friends and like all the siblings and their spouses. It was like a perfect group of people, and just a good conversation.
It was super sweet. So, and then Colin and I went on our honeymoon. Do you have anything else you want to say about the wedding? Oh yeah, we did a sparkler send-off, and I literally thought my hair was going to catch on fire.
I thought it was too. I was scared.
It was tight quarters. I was not expecting it to be that tight, but boy was it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good, and the pictures are super cute, but I was a little bit scared. I think Colin was scared too.
I was scared. Me and Harper, Mallie's cousin Harper, were in front of Ryan and Trey, and I knew they were going to catch our hair on fire. It was probably
on purpose.
And I was like, it would have been so easy for a sparkler, something to fall off one of the sparklers and hit you in the head. And I was just imagining like your whole head like going up in flames
The
because they filled with
hairspray.
hairspray. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that
And
I was scared, but
the worst wedding ever.
yeah. Could you imagine your hair getting literally fried off?
Yeah. No. It's
Be
crazy.
a sparkler. But anything else you need to share about the wedding?
One thing that I love, and I think I talked about this last week, but Mallie had all of these little like swan details. There were like swans on top of her cake, swans on the tables, and then there's supposed to be little swan art on the photo booth things, and
Yeah.
it's still on like the pictures on your phone. Like it just texted the photo booth pictures to you, so it's still really cute. But it was so sweet because it wasn't really a theme. It was like subtle, but it was perfect. And like that
Mm-hmm.
sweet little like storybook fairy tale kind of thing works perfectly with her flowers and with her dress and with her veil and with her shoes. And Colin's suit also was really cool.
Yes.
And
And
he,
Colin got a lot of compliments on it.
yeah.
When a guy that we go to church with, Tracy and Maggie, Tracy is kind of like a very well dressed man, and he kept complimenting Colin, and Colin ate that up. He was talking about it that night. He was like, honestly, I'm just so glad Tracy thought I looked good.
Yeah.
So he did look very cute and handsome in his suit. But
Tracy said on the
phone,
yeah,
voicemails.
It's there forever that
I
he
know.
got Colin's suit.
I need to tell him thank you for making Colin feel good about himself. And I do have to say, a lot of all that, just how my day felt so magical, is accredited to my mother. She took a lot of the fall and made a lot of the decisions and worked very hard for that wedding. And
yeah,
I think that she enjoyed herself and had fun. And like her friend from Nashville was literally staying in the room over and got to come over while we were getting ready and just hang out. And it was just really super sweet. So
it was. And I think it was sweet for everybody in their own ways. Like it was special to everyone.
Hope so.
Obviously to your mom. I hope that she enjoyed the day. I know it was stressful, but
they were just like, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
My mom was texting me. She's like, I'm sorry that this certain plate wasn't set out on your cake table. I was like, Mom. And my dad was like, I'm sorry that your ceremony was messed. I was like, guys, the day was perfect. Like things were made because of how it happened. So it was perfect in my eyes. So
yeah. No, it was perfect. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone
so
there,
too.
I'm sure, thought it was perfect. Yeah. And at one point, I've told everyone at work this, honestly, like every detail of this, but at one point we were all like eating under the tent and it came a rain shower and it like, first of all, it cooled the night off. So like the latter half was not as humid, which was really nice. But also it was just so sweet. Like everybody in these colorful dresses and also everybody looked really nice and really jazzed up the tent. But, everybody's in like these colorful dresses. It's beautiful. Like the flowers under there are so pretty. And then it's like a summer storm outside of the tent. It was a perfect moment. There were so many moments that day where I was like, I wish I could just bottle this up.
I know. It was really, really fun. So, and then Colin and I went on our honeymoon. And we went to the Dominican Republic. And we got there the first day. And it was literally a monsoon. We like couldn't go to the beach or anything. So we went to dinner and we had a good time. Like the Dominican Republic was fun. We didn't do any excursions just because we had never been like out of the country together. Like I'd been out of the country, but not as the adult in the situation. And the area that we were in, it just didn't look the best. I don't know. I'm not trying to sound rude because I know this is another country.
No, people disappear in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I just did not feel safe doing that. So living in an all-inclusive resort is like, have you ever stayed at one?
Yeah.
It's like you're a Sims character or something.
Yeah.
The routine's the same. You're literally surrounded by the same people. You're like literally living in a simulation.
It is weird. Yeah.
But it's so weird also like just sitting down, eating, and then getting up and leaving. You're like, okay, bye. Thanks for that. Literally a filet mignon. Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah. But, and like all of our tips were already accounted for in the pricing, but we would still leave like a few dollars because it just felt weird to not leave anything.
Yeah.
But honestly, traveling there was good. Like we did have to get up at 2 a.m. So it was a little bit exhausting. But traveling there was fun. The water, however, was not clear at all. Colin got in the ocean like 2 times, and Colin is literally a fish.
Yeah.
Like, he catches fish with his hands. That's the reason we went, is because it was supposed to be like crystal clear water, and there was seaweed literally everywhere.
Aw, it must have been like a big storm off the coast or something.
I didn't even get in past my knees, and Colin got in twice at all. So I hated that for him, because that's the reason we went. And he kind of did beat himself up a lot. And like, our room wasn't the one that he thought he had booked. It wasn't the same. So we still had a great time, and like, had fun getting dressed up and whatever every night for dinner. But other than that, like, I will probably never go back to the Dominican Republic. I don't feel a need to.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you did it. And it's kind of good for a honeymoon, because you're just kind of like soaking up the awesomeness, in the words of Regina George.
And the whole time I was just like, I'm so glad to be doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not planning a wedding anymore. I'm just glad to not have a thought. And I finished my book, Gone Girl. I finally finished my book.
Finally.
It was a drag. I mean, the book wasn't a drag. My reading skills were a drag. But I finally finished it, and we like couldn't get our Netflix to work or anything. So I was looking up free movies on YouTube, and first of all, we watched the movie Maleficent in 20 minutes. Not because we fast forwarded, because that's how long it was on YouTube. They would be literally in the middle of a sentence, cut to a whole different scene. And all of a sudden the credits were rolling. I was like, dang, we just watched Maleficent in 20 minutes. Do I have any idea what happened? No.
That's actually a really funny honeymoon story.
Yeah, we tried watching the Titanic. We did watch My Fault London, but it was like zoomed in so far on their faces that you couldn't see.
There's just a video camera set up in the movie theater. You can see people walking.
No, literally. Literally, that's the vibes I got. And like, some of the movies would have background music so they didn't get copyrighted.
Yeah.
So it'd be like the sad elevator music and like a happy scene. You're just like, what is going on?
That's so funny.
So, and now we've been back for a few days, and we're just trying to furnish our home and get adjusted to living with one another. Because, I mean, it was different on our honeymoon, because like, none of our family was going to be on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
So and we felt like we were living in a simulation. But now it's like, I will say it is a little bit harder, and I feel like I have suppressed my emotions about moving out and getting married for so long, and they're finally catching up to me.
Yeah.
But it is hard, like, having family come over and then they have to leave because they've got to go home. And it's hard when your house isn't furnished to like feel like you're in a home, because it feels like, oh, I'll live here for a few days and then I'll be going home too. And then you realize, oh wait, that's not the case. So yeah, that's
all you have to say.
I mean, one thing I think Colin has learned about me in our 2 weeks of being married is that I have no self-awareness. Like, I've literally every day I'm like stubbing my toes 5 times. I'm knocking stuff over. I'm running into stuff. And he points it out. So now I'm more aware. Like, I have bruises on my legs from running into tables. I don't really pay attention is what I'm learning. So I'm going to have to work on that.
Tell us one of your favorite. I feel like we really rushed over the honeymoon, and I want to know like a sweet moment that sticks out to you.
On our way there, we did see a lot of other couples that were honeymooning. Aww. So on our way there, one of our flights, we had a man sit down beside us, and his name was Paul, and he was literally the sweetest guy ever. And him and his wife got married the same day we did, and he like had his wife take a selfie with us. And on the flight there, you got like a drink and crackers or something, and he literally bowed his head and prayed over his Biscoff crackers. And then he had his iPad, he was like reading his Bible. He was like in ministry and stuff, but he was one of the sweetest men ever. You could just tell he was such a genuine soul. And even the flight attendant was like, you have the best smile. Like, you just can see the happiness radiating off of you. And it was just really sweet to, be sat with someone who's actually nice and has the same anniversary as you. And like, all the other couples were like June 7th, and we were like, yeah, June 7th. They're like, what a great day. So it was fun.
I love
it was fun to see a lot of other couples, and where we were at in our resort, we were like part of the elite club, which is, I guess, just the higher thing with an all-inclusive. Crap. But that was all old people, essentially. So we made friends with a bunch of old couples. But
That's so sweet.
I'm trying to think of, it was just fun to just like, I was telling Colin, I was like, we're like on endless dates right now. Everything we do is a date.
Yeah.
And that's fun because just the way our work schedules were before we got married, we kind of never saw each other. And it's about to go back to being that way. So it was nice to finally get to just hang out and chill.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
But yeah.
A moment that you were sending me pictures of that I was so jealous of was like maybe your last night there when you were sitting like watching the sunset.
Oh, yeah. It was beautiful.
So beautiful.
The sunsets there were crazy.
So good every night.
Thank you. Colin was enjoying all the outfits I had bought for him to wear. No, the sunsets there were crazy beautiful. So, and then I was thinking about you the whole time, texting you.
Yeah.
I did get sassy with Colin one time, and he said that he was going to send me home to you.
Send you home to me.
Yeah, and we were sitting in the pool one day, and I was like, "Do you think LG would let me and you go on her honeymoon, and like we'll just stay off to the side, but like when they want to talk to someone else, like we can just come up, because like me and Colin ran out of things to talk about." I was like, "What more do I have to say to you?"
Yeah, that's so. What did you talk about?
I mean, I guess other people there, you just get to the point you're like, I literally went out. I was like, "Are you tired of hanging out with me? Like, do you miss talking to someone else other than me?" And he was like, "Well, no, not really." I was like, "Oh,
that makes one of
this is awkward." No, but it's just weird when you only have one person to talk to.
Yeah.
And like, I couldn't use my phone unless it was hooked up to Wi-Fi. So
yeah,
it was funny. It's just a funny thing.
That makes sense because I was trying to look at your location and I could see that Colin was already, when you first got there, I could see that Colin was already at the resort, but I couldn't see where you were, and I was worried that he had trafficked you or something.
He sold me on the way there for a little, he's so money hungry.
But I just want to say also, I have gotten like probably 4 to 7 Taco Bell stackers since we've discovered them.
Really? I need to go tomorrow. Good. They are. We hate to admit it.
We do.
But he was right.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, we had a great time, and now it's been fun like being back home though, because the first night we got back, or the first day, like my parents and his parents came over and we moved our couch in and my yellow chair. And then the next night I made ice cream in our Ninja Creamy for the first time, so everyone came over. And then today we took June and Mabel, our dogs, to swim, and then my parents came over after to like pick them up and ate dinner here. So it is fun to like kind of host.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I'm getting excited to host things when you come home too.
Me too. I'm so excited. I've actually been thinking about it. First of all, did you watch the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders thing last summer? Okay, you need to watch it. You might not like it, but you need to try it. Like maybe when Colin is gone,
Yeah.
You're gonna be sleeping the whole time Colin's gone. But there's a new season that came out like today, and I was gonna save it and maybe watch it at your house.
That's fine.
But
come on over.
You might not like it, so
I'll be with you. I'll be happy.
I just thought it might be a fun activity for us.
Exactly. No, what's so nice is my house is like a walkable distance to town. So I can like rendezvous. But I used that coffee. You got me that Starbucks vanilla latte. I used it to make ice cream. So I'm perfecting my coffee flavored ice cream recipe.
Oh, what a good idea. Did you try it by itself?
No, not yet.
It's
I need
really
to.
good.
I'll try it tomorrow. But it was good in the ice cream.
I bet that would be good in ice cream. It's just like the Starbucks vanilla latte that you buy like made from the store.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I also bought some acai bowl mix that I'm going to try to make an acai bowl in my Ninja Creamy.
I'm so excited.
I know, I can't wait. I'm excited to, and like today, Colin and I got to babysit here for the first time.
Aww.
Madison's brought Kayla and Cohen over while she ran to town really quick. So I was like, this is a good wake up call because they were like raising heck in here. And Colin was like running around with his head cut off. I was like, yeah, take notes. This is why we want to be dinks, dual income, no kids.
Yeah.
So,
that's the dream.
Yeah, they just come over and we get our dose and then we kick them out.
Yeah.
But it was fun. And I'm trying to explain to Kaylor that this is my house now. I don't live at the other house because he keeps wanting to go over there.
It's a big yard. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, where it's fun and we have grass because right now we have no grass. Our yard is literally mud because they're paving our driveway on Friday. We have no grass. The dogs can't come here.
Though that they're paving it.
Yeah, it is. But Kayla was like, I want to go to Rex and Missy's house. And then he said, is Rex still at the wedding? I was like, no, he's home.
That's where he lives.
He lives at wedding. So it was sweet.
That's really adorable.
Yeah. I'm excited to have more of a debrief in person and just I'm excited to start gathering tidbits from people as I see them now.
Yeah.
I did, however, make my mom go to Walmart and the grocery store with me for the first time, but she made me push the buggy, which was incredibly rude.
She's easing you into it.
No, literally, she's like, here's your buggy. I was like,
here's your buggy.
Do you hate me?
So funny. Interesting. Not to say you fail. Be humiliated.
No, literally. But yeah, it is weird being out in town and people are like, oh, how's it being married? And I'm like, it's something.
That's so crazy. I can't imagine like seeing people for the first time after you get married. Like I just feel like it's such a big life event. You're supposed to be changed, you know?
Yeah, that's what your mom was just asking me. You know what I don't like? Laundry. I'd been kind of faded out since I'd moved back from college. My mom still did some for me. Let me tell you.
If you don't do laundry, it doesn't get done.
Exactly. That's the thing that I'm not liking about this whole living on your own and having someone else live in your house. And I'm dreading moving all of my stuff. I walk in my closet at home and I literally walk out. I'm like, I don't need clothes. I will scavenge. I'll wear this same shirt for the rest of my life.
Your What We Said shirt.
Yeah, I heard what we said.
By the way, a little side note, What We Said is doing a tour, but they're not coming to Nashville.
Or any of the east side except New York.
Yeah.
And Miami, maybe.
Orlando, I think.
Orlando.
So we're thinking about another New York trip. Or Dallas or Orlando.
I'm going to run tomorrow. Do you realize we ran a half marathon in like less than 2 months?
I do realize that.
So, we need to get on that.
Like a month and 12 days or something.
Yeah, and we need to book our flights and a room.
We have a lot to do. I don't want to do it till I'm home, though. Like, I want to do that with you in person.
Okay, well, you'll be home in like just a few days, so.
Yeah.
We'll put it in the calendar, but I may run tomorrow if that's okay.
That's okay with me.
Thanks.
I was going to say, I only have one more week at my...
That's crazy. I can't believe it's already been 6 weeks.
I know. It has been the fastest 6 weeks of my life.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm honestly kind of like, obviously I'm super excited to come home and like be home for a little bit and see you, especially with your new life changes. But I'm kind of sad to leave a little. Like, people are really great. I love all the people here. So.
That's good. I'm glad. Maybe that'll be your future. Who knows? Maybe, baby.
And tomorrow you're going shopping, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, hopefully Mallie will have some furniture updates for us next week.
Yes. I hope so. Right now should I give like a little spin?
Yeah, give us a spin. And also we need to show the wedding band before we get off here.
Okay, I'll do that real quick. So this is my band. You probably can't tell, but it has just like little engravings. And I also think it makes my ring look huge. I'm not really sure why.
I thought the same thing. When you first pulled your hand up, I was like, it looks so much bigger.
It's a freaking rock.
Yeah.
Okay. oh my gosh, I'm probably about to break something. This is my lawn chair, my footrest of the music. And then this is our couch. This is our kitchen. You're sitting on 2 tubs. Look at my coffee table with all of its decor. And there's the plasma screen. So huge.
Oh, but I'm glad to see you have the Scrabble board. The necessity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Colin has his PlayStation. So,
yeah. So, really, you're set.
We're fine.
Scrabble and PlayStation. What else could a young couple want?
I'm excited to have Scrabble nights here. I'm just excited to have hangouts here. It'll be so fun.
I know. So, it feels so fake. And I was telling Mom when she first got here, I was like, nothing has made me feel older in my entire life than Mallie getting married. And she's like, yeah, obviously. Like,
so let's talk about just briefly how you've been feeling and why you've been crying about it.
I will say on Monday, I ended up driving back to Chattanooga in the morning. So, like, I woke up at 4:30 and then left my house at 5 and drove. So, I had lots of time to think. And it was early in the morning and I was sleep deprived. So, it was a very bittersweet feeling. Like, obviously, I'm so glad that we are this old. And, like, I'm so glad that you have, like, a perfect relationship, you know? And there's obviously nothing wrong with, like I'm so glad that you and Colin are together and, like, married, you know? But it's just kind of, it's a trip, you know? Because I know I say all the time, like, how are we this old? But I don't know how to say that in a way that makes it sound insane. Like, it is the weirdest feeling I've ever felt in my life that, like, you have a house and you have a husband and you know what I mean? Like, you are my person.
It kind of, yeah. And it's like different because now, I don't know, like when I lived at home, it was like, okay, if you want to spend the night here, or I spend the night there, like, whatever. And I mean, it's still that way because we're not really tied down like that, I feel like. Because, you know, our friendship is just psychotic. It's just different though, you know? Like, it's almost like that innocence of childhood is gone, you know? Like, just, and it's just like one of our first nights being back in our house, our families left and I was folding laundry sobbing. Colin's like, what is wrong? I was like, I just want to go home. And he was like, Mallie, you can go spend the night at your house. I was like, no, I literally, like, I can, but I can't. Like, I'm not going to get, if I just give in, I won't get used to staying here. He's like, I know I miss my family too. I was like, this is nothing against you, but I want it, like this does not feel like home.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I know. So he was like glad to get the couch in and stuff like that because it makes it seem more homey. But it is just really hard, like, saying bye to your parents because it's like, I won't see you at home. So, but I still am, like, hanging out with them every day. So,
it's going to be such a cool experience, though, for you and Colin to, like, grow together. So, because you've been together so long, and I feel like when you're with someone for so long, it sometimes feels like there's no, obviously there is, like, that you know everything and, like, that you figured it all out. But it's going to be so cool for you guys to, like, do this, to get comfortable and, like, make this a home together. Like, I'm about to cry thinking about it. That's, like, the sweetest. That's,
it is
the
fun.
human experience. That is what life is about, you know?
Yeah, it is fun. And it's fun to, like, make things ours. Like, yes, I have my style, but I also need to consider, like, him and what he likes, even though he doesn't care. Like, today he looked at our bowls and was like, they are cute. They're pink. He was like, they are cute. Like, okay, thank you. So, I don't know. It's a really, like, sweet experience, but it also, like, has a little bit of sting to it.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing. So,
I think so too.
So, yeah. I'm sure there's
Go ahead.
more. I said I'm sure there's more we'll babble about in the future, but these are just my thoughts off the top of my head.
Something my mom has always said is, and almost every time I say this, I start crying, because it's always when I'm, like, super high on emotions anyway, but she says, just because things will be different doesn't mean they won't be good. So it'll definitely be, I mean, obviously, you know, you wouldn't have married him if it wouldn't be, like, a perfect one, but yeah. It's just it's just an adjusting period, you know?
It is. but it's also exciting. And like when we were on vacation, I was like, it's crazy to think that we can just do this when we want. We can just like go on trips. And so we might go somewhere for a weekend this summer. I don't know, it'll just be kind of crazy. So it's fun to have someone, not that I didn't have someone to do things with, but it's fun to like have.
Ooh.
Like one day we'll be taking our kids places and stuff like that, and you and Ron and your kids will go too. So
Obviously, yes.
I'm really excited for our family vacations in like 30 years. No, seriously, can we go on your honeymoon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I've consulted my future husband.
Oh, you have?
All of the like options for my future husband, I've consulted them all and
Okay.
said that like we're a joint deal. Me, you, and Colin.
No, literally. What was it? Last night, was it? Colin, we were laying in bed, like about to go to sleep, and you got brought up, obviously. And I was like, yeah. Oh, because I've been dreaming about you or something like that. I need to tell you about my dreams, but off the record. And I was like, yeah, it would just be like me, LG, and you. Colin, I said, and you'll face the wall. And me and LG will face each other. And he's like, yeah. I said, yeah, you can talk to the wall because you don't get involved in the conversation. He was like, oh. So he literally turned and faced the wall and went to sleep. I was like, good practice.
You guys, do you have any? Okay, just quickly, do you guys have any like rules for your marriage so far? Did you discuss any in your honeymoon? Like, is he gonna like? How are you gonna split up the household chores? Are you gonna ever go to bed angry couple?
He mows the yard, and I do the laundry because I think he's gonna shrink my clothes. But Colin's actually pretty good about doing the dishes. Like he's pretty mindful of that, and like we got a vacuum, the one that you have, and he's the one that's been I vacuumed for the first time today. Other than that, he's been doing it. He had to show me how to use it. So he's pretty mindful about cleaning and whatnot. So yeah, no, we haven't made any rules about going to bed angry. Although I did think of that last night. I was like, I mean, I guess we need to do that. I don't know. It's my first time being married.
Maybe you should just make the rule after your first like big fight.
Yeah, I was like, this is a rule.
Yeah.
Surprise. But no, I mean, Colin is actually a very helpful man, and he's very intuitive of things that need to be done, so we'll let it slide.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've got to share. I'm sure everyone's tired of hearing about me. It was fun. My bridal era was fun, but I am glad it's over.
Do you think that we soaked it in enough?
Yeah. Do you?
I don't know. I hope so.
I mean,
think you enjoyed it, so.
I did, yeah. But I am glad, like, the wedding planning's over.
Yeah.
I'm ready to decorate.
Yeah.
I'm ready to cook.
Homemaking era.
Yeah. Shoo. I'm gonna have to learn how to cook.
Not really. I feel like you don't really have to learn how to cook until you, like, have kids.
I made an omelet yesterday. So, just saying. Like, and yeah. And Colin was saying on our honeymoon, he'd go, and yeah. And I was like, thank you.
And so, yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, do you have anything else you need to say?
I think so. Oh, this is like so inconsequential compared to the rest of our conversation. But I went to court today twice, and it was really good.
Wow, did you win?
I was just observing. Nobody really won. It was the first day of a trial, though. It was opening arguments. It was interesting.
Wow, that's fun.
And I think I can say this. It's like public record. Let me think about this for just a second. Am I breaking any rules? I don't think so. A juror was like falling asleep because it was a jury trial. One of them was falling asleep. So the judge was like, can we just have like a 30-second standing stretching break?
Imagine. I'd be so embarrassed.
That's so funny. But all of them, okay, I can't tell anymore. Sorry.
Okay, we won't get on to you. It's literally the law.
Okay, sorry.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. I hope that you all have enjoyed hearing all this stuff that you probably really didn't care about. But it's been fun. I hope that you all enjoyed staying tuned on my wedding and whatnot, and it'll be fun to share more updates about our house as they come. But yeah, it'll be fun to have LG home. Can't wait to record in my house.
I know. I'm so excited.
But yeah, so hopefully we'll be coming with some new fresh topics other than wedding stuff soon.
Yeah,
so
we need a good long break from wedding content.
Yeah. Until it's your turn.
And hopefully that'll be a good long time.
Good long 3 months.
Even though I always talk about it like it's, 3 months.
All right, guys. We'll see you all next week. Thanks so much for listening. See ya. Love ya. Bye.